Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about a continuation video, talking about the video that I did yesterday a little bit, and also just overall the future of War Thunder. I actually saw a Mustard video, if you haven't checked it out. It is a very cool channel, and he basically was talking about the history of the F-15, right? And I kind of thought, well, what if the Su-27, as I said yesterday, is too OP? What if the extended range of the R-27ER compared to the AIM-7s, due to the seeker head of the AIM-7 not being able to do shots from longer than 40 to 45 kilometers, make the Su-25-7 too OP? What if even the MiG-29 is going to be dominating F-15 just due to the effect in the BVR? So I was kind of thinking that, and I thought about how they normally add the first variant of an aircraft, or they try to do like an earlier version as well. So if we are going to see an Eagle or an F-15, we will probably see the F-15A, the 1976. Remember, 1976 is the first date, or the first year that a squadron-ready F-15A was delivered for the USAF. So, yeah, so if we are going to get a 70s F-15 that would probably only have AIM-9Ls and AIM-7Fs, what can we have as a counter to that? I mean, people would get mad if nothing else is added to counter it. Not that the F-15A would need too much countering, especially with the MiG-29 having the R-27ER, but people would get mad if nothing else is added, right? And if the Su-27 is too OP, there might be only one aircraft that wouldn't be OP that can be added for the Soviets, so that they can actually quote-unquote counter a little bit more of the F-15A. But yeah, let's a little bit talk about this. As you see over here, here is the loadout of an F-15A, what it would look like. So job tanks, you know, AIM-9Js, AIM-9Ls, AIM-7Fs, E2s and Es. Nothing too crazy, to be honest. And even with the APG-63, which is a 100 kilometer range radar, these versions were kind of limited in that sense, and it was just kind of the same what we see with the F-16, but with a bigger radar, just a bigger aircraft, right? So yeah, it is indeed a very, very good aircraft, and I think it's going to be the most powerful aircraft in the US arsenal until later variants of the F-15 are added, right? So yeah, but as you see with the weapon loadouts of an F-15A from the 70s, it wouldn't be too OP. I mean, AIM-7Fs, they're the normal missiles that we see. AIM-9Ls, also not that OP. Nothing too crazy. And as I said, we can kind of assume that something like this would happen because they normally add earlier variants of aircraft before everything else, right? So, as I said, if the Su-27 is too OP, even against later variants of the F-15, what that thing is going to do with the F-15A, right? So, what aircraft can deal with the F-15A that would probably be inferior in every single way beyond one point, being a support aircraft for that the MiG-29s and MiG-23s and others can actually deal with an F-15A without too much hassle. And it would do that because, as I show it, the F-15A wouldn't be that OP anyway, due to the weapon systems that the weapons that he had, right? What is that aircraft? Yes, I'm going to mention it again. Yes, Matt is doing it again. I know a lot of people complain about this. I don't care. The MiG-25PD, man. The MiG-25PD would be the perfect addition right now. They entered in service around the same year even from the F-15A to the MiG-25 PD. Remember, the PD is the advanced version from the late 70s, so it has the better R-40s, It has the ability to carry R60Ms. It has flares. It would still be a bus. It would not turn at all. It would basically be a missile bus flying really high and really fast so that it can actually deliver BVR missiles. As I show it, you can do that as a main job with any aircraft that you want. If you actually fly high and get people with the BVR missiles, you can get 2 to 4 kills flying high, and then you are basically out of missiles in the case of the AK-41, for example, and then you have to return to base. MiG-25 would be basically the same, using this loadout. So R60Ms, as I said, R40s would be the main missiles, R40 RDs and TDs. Remember, these missiles still outrange the AIM-7s. They are still having a longer range, and with the radar of the MiG-25PD having around 80 to 100 kilometers depending on the size of the target, it would be very much comparable in the BVR arena. Yes, everything else the F-15 would stomp the MiG-25, but that's not the point of adding the MiG-25. The MiG-29 is already the best aircraft on the meta-wise, in my opinion. The Soviets already have one of the best, if not the best, BVR aircraft of all time with the AK-41. So one might even argue that we don't even need anything else for the Soviets, and that the F-15A could be even added without a counter. But I tend to be a little bit more reserved for that, just for the fact that I like things balanced as much as possible. So having a MiG-25PD might help dealing with the BVR, because remember, the MiG-25PD would basically be forced to actually fly high and do the BVR, something that the AK-41 and the MiG-29 do not do. So if you are going to actually have kills with the PD, you would be forced to actually fly high and do BVR. So at least on that BVR part, it would be kind of a support role. Obviously, it wouldn't be 12.0. I think it would be like 11.7 BR. Obviously, the F-15A would be 12.0. But I think they would be the perfect counters to each other to be added together, because they are kind of nemesis to each other. They even faced each other in real life, right? So yeah, it's either something like this or nothing, you know? In my opinion, it's either a MiG-25PD being a support plane for the MiG-29 that can still outrange the F-15A due to the missile of the R-27ER, and the AK-41 that can do the same, rather than having an Su-27, you know? So it's either this or having an Su-27, so it's either this or nothing, because the Su-27 would be too OP, and then it would be a kind of a snowball of adding aircraft that would be power creeping each other again, which is, I think, a thing that we really don't want. Remember, we kind of have a status quo right now that has kind of balancing. You know, the F-16 and the MiG-29s, they have very similar status on the statistics. Doesn't mean that the F-16 can deal with the MiG-29s in the BVR. So even in the side of the US and the Israelis, it would help those two nations also have, I mean, it's perfect, right? You have a first edition of an F-15 that everybody loves. You have the nemesis of the F-15 initially, especially the MiG-25PD on the same time era. You'd still have the Soviets being strong with the MiG-29s and Yaks, but also helping the BVR weapon systems of the US and Israelis, specifically the Israelis that really need something like that. All this together with adding two iconic aircraft. So it's just a perfect solution in my opinion. It wouldn't be too OP for anybody, you know, an F-15A wouldn't change the meta that much. And it would help more the US and the Israelis, which they need in the BVR arena, than everything else. And as I said, they need that in the BVR arena. So I think it's just a perfect solution. Adding the F-15A, adding the MiG-25PD in the same BR, and later when we have an F-15C MSIP with later versions of the Sparrow maybe, then we can have the Su-27 with the ERs, with the 6 ERs that it can carry, and it would be fine. I think that's my opinion. I know a lot of people would say, but the MiG-25 is useless. Man, I don't care. MiG-25 would be, as I said, forcing you to play BVR, and that is a good thing, because then you can have a proper counter to the F-15 on the BVR arena, together with the already very strong MiG-29 and Yak-41. Remember, the PD would still be a support kind of role, having a support kind of role in the Soviet tech tree, while the F-15A would be the main fighter of the US. So it's just a big addition for one, because they are lacking in BVR, and then a minor addition that it's very iconic, and it will force people flying high and stuff and being a support aircraft and helping the MiG-29s win against the F-15, right? At least it's my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. I think it's the perfect timing for adding these two aircraft. It wouldn't break the balance too much. And yeah, but basically this is it. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye guys, see you.